Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you tonight for this movie review. Hopefully you will enjoy this 2024 movie, The Book of Clarence, with Lakeith Stanfield playing Clarence in this film, and he plays his brother Thomas as well in this film too. So pretty much it's around the AD time after death. So it's around the time Jesus of Nazareth was around. So this is basically the story of how Jesus was crucified and all that. So let's dive into this, died for our sins and all that stuff. So he could be reborn again um, days later. So pretty much let's dive into this movie review now. Basically, it's at first when I watched it, there were some things I was cringing at through certain points in the movie, but he basically tries to be a false prophet, Clarence does, in the second act of the movie. That's where it threw me off for most of it. I think the first half was the most weak part of the movie, and not in a good way. But the second half showed a little more redemption for the emotional side of the ending to the film, because he truly doesn't give up the actual Jesus Christ of Nazareth. So, the real Jesus of Nazareth. So, he doesn't give him up in Jerusalem. So, he sacrifices his own life to save the people of Jerusalem and to show them that he is a true, loyal, godly man, and the ending will surprise you, I will tell you that. And it gives a lot of hope for the end, and in a good way. And that's what I was really interested in, the second to the final act of the film. The second act had its moments where it was doing good, and then it was not doing so well. I think the crucifixion part was the best part of the movie. But, because it shows a little redemption for the messy points of the story. Like, it shows a man who didn't believe in God, and he basically was ignorant and blind to the truth, and then what happens is he's a believe it to see it kind of person, and then he finally sees that there is a God, and that he's watching him and watching the mistakes he makes, and then he shows mercy and gives him a second chance by sacrificing his own life to save the fuck-ups and save the mistakes. Kind of like, basically, a redemption thing. He gets a second chance at life at the end of the movie. But I don't want to spoil too much, but it ends in a good way. I will tell you that. You think it ends so depressing and emotional, but it will surprise you. The very ending will surprise you. Like, the last few seconds of the ending is the best part of it. But if I were to give this movie a okay score, it's going to get a 6.5 out of 10. I think it's okay. I don't think it's my favorite movie this year. But at least the final act of the movie showed a little redemption for the messy points of the first two acts of the film. Like, the first two acts of the film, like book one, book two, because he's claiming that he wants to become a new messiah, and then he's spewing off false beliefs and lies and all that, and then he finally kind of is praying to God to ask him to save him, but what he does is sacrifice himself to save himself at the end of the film, to save himself from all the discretions, the troublemaking he did, and all that stuff. And this story did have a bit of interesting points, but the execution was the thing. I'm still giving it a 6.5 out of 10. It's an okay film. I guess watch it for yourself. See what you think of it for yourself. It's not a terrible movie, but it's not one of the best movies I've seen this year. But it had an interesting story to a degree. So, 6.5 out of 10 for the Book of Clarence. Thank you for watching this movie review tonight.